So hello dear students, in the today's lecture we will discuss about the technique which is called high performance liquid chromatography. So basically this is the technique for the separation of compounds or the components from the mixer, and this is technique used also for the detection of the compounds in the mixer. This is also used for the improving the quality of the compounds, improve the quality of the particular or the solution, you can say. And if we talk about the industrial view, then in the industries, high performance liquid chromatography is used for detection of the impurity and for improving the quality of the drug. So now the learning objective of this class to understand the basic terms used in high performance liquid chromatography and fundamentals of the liquid chromatography, and also the instrumentation of the high performance liquid chromatography, how we can perform our chromatography run by using this technique. We will be discussed here. To know the fundamentals and methods of high performance liquid chromatography, separation of enantiomer source will be discussed. Now the learning object outcomes of this lecture, student would be able to get knowledge about high performance liquid chromatography, and student would be able to apply about high performance liquid chromatography for anisomeric separations also. This is the technique used for the highly. This is widely used as well. The in academics as well as in the industries for improvement of the quality of the drugs, for improvement for the determining monitoring the reaction, chemical synthesis reaction. Okay. So in the organic chemistry, in the analytical chemistry, and all the very various branches of the science, it is used. In biotechnology lab, this specific technique is used for detection, for separation of the components, for analyzing the sample, for analyzing the sample. Okay, so it has the it is this technique is used for quality as well as quantitative analysis of the sample. Okay. Now the partition of a solute between two immiscible liquid phases. Actually, in the liquid chromatography, there is actually the partition of the solute molecule between two immiscible liquid phases. And this is the one of the example of the liquid chromatography, that is high performance liquid chromatography, right? But in the high performance liquid chromatography, there is actually the partition of a solute between the solid and the liquid phases, where the liquid phase is actually the mobile phase and solid phase is actually the stationary phase. Okay, and this is the instrumentation of high performance liquid chromatography. This is here. This is actually the mobile phase. We have in the field this uh, bottle by the mobile phase. I mean the mixer of the solvents, and this solvent is actually passed through the this pump here, and this pump actually the provide steady solvent flow rate for isochromatic as well as for or for gradient mobile phase. Okay, so the actually isochromatic and gradient mobile phases are actually these are the types of the running the solvents in the different compositions, right? So this pump actually the provide steady solvent flow rate. With this pump, this increase actually the pressure. By this pump, increase the pressure, and with this pressure, this solvent pass through this pump, and when this pass through the HPLC column, this is the HPLC column here. This is the flow direction, left to right, in this column, and before this column and After this pump, there is actually the injector. So this injector would be actually the automatic or maybe manual. This may be auto sampler or maybe manual. So if this is manual, then we actually the with the help of the syringe, we put our sample for analysis and in this injector, okay. Or we can say this, we inject this sample by the injection or the syringe into this mobile phase. So with the mobile phase, this component will migrate and this will pass through this HPLC column. So with the stationary phase field in this column, this mobile phase component and also the sample components interact with this stationary phase components. This stationary phase maybe is actually the solid state support media. Support solid state. This is in the solid state and this interact with the components. And since the component interact on the basis of the polarity of the component. Polarity. I'm talking about the polarity, right? So on the basis of the polarity of the compounds present in the mixer, they will interact with the stationary phases of the column in differently, right? Means suppose one component is interacting with the SPLC column or stationary phase in the column for more time, then it will elute faster from the column, okay. And if a component is not interacting or interact for less time to the stationary phase of the column, means it is interacting with the mobile phase for more time. So the component which interact with the mobile phase for more time will move through the by the with the mobile phase through this column and elute from this column, and this is reached at the detector. And in the detector there is actually the sensing of this sample, and its photograph will be the raised or the appeared in the photographic this plate or the window. This computer is associated with this HPLC system, okay. So in this computer, as well as the component reached at the detector, signals will appear in the system of the chromatogram, as a chromatogram, okay. And after detection of the sample, this sample moves forward to the west, right? And we can also collect this sample for the various purposes or for further its uses, okay. Otherwise, it will goes to the west, right? So this will depends upon you that what you want to do with this, the eluted components from the detector. Now, HPLC column, the column which is used in the high performance liquid chromatography, is actually the most HPLC packings are porous, and most of the stationary phase surface area is on the inside of the particles. Okay, so this is actually the HPLC column. In this HPLC column, there are the bonded phase layer of the compounds or the bonded phase, that is called stationary phase. Okay, so stationary, these are actually the functional groups or the groups or the structure of the bonded stationary phase. Okay, and mobile phase will move between these bonded stationary phase, and with the mobile phase our compounds will move, and this is the internal structure which has the porous structure actually of stationary phase in the column. Okay, so this is the just like a net. Okay, this is the internal part of this. So with the mobile phase, with these internal, through this in these the pores of this stationary phase, the components will pass. Okay, and components will interact with the these functionalities or the functional groups of these uh, stationary phase. Okay, So a layer of alkyl chain bonded to the silica surface. This is the silica. This is the silica, and on the silica surface, this is the layer of alkyl chain. Alkyl chain. If we talk about the reverse phase SPLC column, reverse phase SPLC column, which C18 column. So if the column has the stationary phase, C18 stationary phase, then the C18 stationary phase will be actually the incorporated with this silica gel as a layer. Okay. And see, this is actually the packed bed of the stationary phase. This is packed bed with the stationary phase. This is flat. Flat spherical particles are there in the flat, and irregular particle also there. Direction of flow to back column. To back column actually. This is the direction of flow. The composition of the mobile phase provide the chemical environment for the interaction of the solute with the stationary phase. So whatever the actually the composition of the mobile phase is here, this gives the environment, chemical environment, and this is responsible for interaction of the solute with the stationary phase. Okay, the variety, whereas I mean the quality of the mobile phase also affect the its carrying power. Its carrying power to the its carrying power of the components of the mixer. Okay, and quality of the mobile phase also the responsible for interacting with the stationary phase. So when mobile phase also interact with the stationary phase, interact means adsorb just like, then simple compounds also absorb with the stationary phase and they will separate. Now the chromatographic suppression performance is here. So according to the diagram we have discussed in the previous slides, this is the column, and with the mobile phase, when mobile phase pass through this column, then these components present in the mixer A and B will also pass through the column. So this is the black stick for the maximum concentration of these A and B. So whenever they pass through the column, and as their distance increased and time is increased in the column, then they will be separated. So component A and B are separated. Actually, the two strips are formed here. One is for A and one is for B. Now, which is for which component A or B will depends upon the quality of the hydrophobic or hydrophilic characters, right? So after the run, at the final stage, the A is here at the bottom of the column, means A is near about to elute from the column, okay, and B is at this position. So whenever this A component will pass to the will elute from this column and reach at the detector, then in the detector sense this component A and in the photographic plate, there will be a chromatogram. There will be a peak that is called chromatogram. Okay, so this will be peak for component A, and this is peak for component B. If we move from left to right here in this graph, then the parameter of time is actually in the increasing order from left to right. So if this is increasing order, it means the A is reloaded first and second is reloaded at the later time or the higher time or the later. Okay. So this is the flow of the mobile phase in the column, and these are actually the particles of the stationary phase in the column. This is actually the shown just like this. And so the separation of the components is based on the distribution of the components between the stationary and mobile phase. Okay. So if the mobile phase, if this is K, this is distribution K is equals to the concentration of the component in the stationary phase upon the concentration of the component in the mobile phase. Okay. So in by this formula we can calculate the K value, distribution coefficient value. Now in a liquid chromatographic process, liquid permeates through a porous solid stationary phase and elutes the solute into a flow through detector. Right. Now we are talking about the sample injector autosampler. So this is actually the autosampler, and there are two type of the sample injector. One is autosampler and second is the manual injector. Okay. So in the manual injector, we inject the sample each time manually. Okay, or in the autosampler machine or the system will take the sample from the sample tube automatically. Programs are set actually for that type of the running program. Okay, so here this is the loop. This is the loop injection loop that is called. This loop has six port valve it has. Okay, this is the valve, this sample injector from this side, and this is the auto sampler. Here are six valves actually, and the load position. This is the load position. I mean, this is the load position, and cut off the diluted front here. This is cut off the diluted front, and fill 3 multiplied by loop volume here. So we will fill 3 multiplied by the loop volume. So whatever the loop volume is here, we fill the sample multiply in the multiplication, means 3 times more, right? So in the load position, the loop can be filled with the sample using a simple series or an auto sampler. Okay. So in this full loop injection, we can load the our sample by manually by using the syringe, or we can load our sample using auto sampler. Okay. And this is actually the solvent passing, or the mobile phase passing through this loop. So when actually there we have load the sample, and we this rotate this, and this solution of the sample gives, I mean this is reached at this position that is called load position. Okay, and they pass through the column through this column with this mobile phase. Okay. Now the Now the detection methods in the HPLC, which type of the detector or which detectors are used actually. So the detectors used in HPLC are actually the UV visible light, and most this is the light source actually, light source UV visible light, not the light source. This is UV visible light is used, and this is most popular detector. And the last light source used in this detector is actually the lamp or the grating or cyan lens. Wavelength of this grating or the lens is 190 to 350 nanometer. And photodiode array detector also used, for the detection of the compounds for the sample in the HPLC, right? We can also use RI refractive index. Actually, this is used in the and FD fluorescence, MS mass spectrometry. So these are different type of the drugs actually, right? We use actually the UV visible light for detection. Now, HPLC diode array detection array analysis. This is the deuterium lamp. This is mirror from this is deuterium lamp. This is actually the light source. When this light this no incident at the mirror, then mirror actually by changing the angle, this is passed through the sample cell, and sample cell after passing through the sample cell, this the this light emitted at this grating, and getting reflected this light into the various colored uh, intensities, and these intensities of the radiations pass through the diode array detector and in the amplifier. Okay, so in the amplifier, this was amplified, and the signal will appear in the photograph played by the detection. Right. So here this is the absorption wavelength, and there is illusion time. Absorption wavelength and illusion time. Okay, absorbance is actually measured at two or more wavelength. We can measure in the diode array detector. We can measure actually the absorbance at two or more than two wavelength, different wavelengths. Okay, because we can set here the wavelengths of each particular type. particular colored. Okay, so this is actually the photograph representing the data analysis. And this here there are two type of the compound. One is actually the hydroxy derivative. Second is actually the normal hydrogen containing. So this hydroxy derivative have this this type of the intensity is absorption intensity is what while this does not have the absorption intensities too much. This has too much intensities of absorption because there is the presence of oxygen, and oxygen contains the lone electron, and this lone electron of the oxygen actually participate in the resonance with these uh, conjugated double bonds. So when this get resonance with this conjugated double bonds, then actually there is increasing in the intensity of the signal. Okay. Now column chromatographic suppression. So in the column actually HPLC is also the column chromatographic technique, but it is not actually the open column chromatography technique. Column chromatography techniques are actually two types. One is the open column chromatography, and second is the closed column chromatography technique. Okay. So when this is stage number one, when we put our sample in the column with the mobile phase, then this there are actually the 8 components in the mixer of this sample. So when they are passed through these testing phases filled in the column, then at the second stage here, these four particles, four different particles are actually the transferred more distance, means traveling more distance, while this traveled less distance. These are actually the segments in the column that are called the number of theoretical plates. Okay, and there are also the equilibrium between the theoretical plates. So in the stage number third, as mobile phase moves forward direction, then with the mobile phase, these components also migrated. They are traveled, and now you can see here that first and second two particles are actually the traveled more distance than the four, and that these four actually the traveled more distance than these two. Okay, and as for the movement of the mobile phase, these components also further move in the forward direction, and at this stage, this column is actually saturated by these compounds here, and here we can see that there is the first component is actually the separated from these components. Okay, and this is also separated. Okay, and they will from the column with the different rate, right? This the get separation. So here addition of the mobile phase is there. Yeah. Continuously we add the mobile phase into the column or the pass through the column. Okay, and with this mobile phase from this column, the components are actually also separated or deleted. Here the assumed partition coefficient is 1. The partition coefficient assumed here is 1. And this is the stationary phase. White is stationary phase, and this blue is actually the mobile phase. Sky blue is the mobile phase. Okay. Now the band broadening of the peak. So for these components actually, the all segments are actually filled by these components. So there is you know a very big or the broadened peak is appeared. Okay, for these components because these components are not eluting at a time. Okay, or within a specific time. They are eluted within a range of the time. Okay, so and according to the concentration of the components reached at the detector, their signal is the appeared in this shape. This is the Gaussian distribution. Just a 1 minute. Sorry. Sorry for interruptions. Now the question answer session is here. In HPLC during chromatographic run, there is of analyte molecules on stationary phase. So what type of the interaction between analyte molecule on stationary phase? Either absorption, adsorption, absorption, and none of these. So what do you mean by the absorption? Absorption means the incorporation of solute molecules, okay, within the whole volume of the stationary phase. Means analyte molecule are actually the distributed uniformly in the throughout the volume of the stationary phase is called the absorption. Okay. And adsorption means there is actually the increased concentration or the concentration of the analyte molecule at the outermost surface of the stationary phase. That is called adsorption. So actually in the HPLC run there is only the adsorption of the analyte molecule with the stationary phase. Okay, just an interaction because the analyte molecules are here in the equilibrium stage between stationary phase and mobile phase. Okay, so the correct option would be the B, that is adsorption. Question number 2: in normal phase aspiration, analyte molecules absorb on the polar weakly acidic surface of. So in HPLC, analyte molecule adsorb on the polar and weakly acidic surface of silica gel, cyclodextrin, amylose, and octadodecine. So actually, if you talk about the adsorption of the polar molecule, so the in that case, the these are actually stationary phases, silica gel, but this is not absorbed. Cyclodextrin, in the cyclodextrin, there is actually the inclusion complexation between analyte and the polar group of these cyclodextrin. In the amylose, there is actually the adsorption. In the amylose, the analyte molecule are in interaction with the hydroxy groups present in the amylose, and there is the interaction, and by this interaction there is adsorption of the analyte molecule with the stationary phase molecules. And octadodecile, so actually the octadodecile chiral stationary phase is not used in the normal phase SPLC. In the normal phase SPLC, only we use polar. What I am calling polar stationary phases we use. Okay. And the third is which is not the example of non-polar solvent. So, which is not the example of non-polar solvent, hexane, chloroform, methanol, and butane. Non-polar solvent. Which compound is non-polar? Actually, hexane is non-polar. Yeah, because hexane is actually constituted by the carbon and hydrogen. These carbon and hydrogens are connected with each other, or carbon also connected with each other, and there is no electronegative difference between carbon and hydrogen. So in these bonds there is no actually the polarity, right? Or if there is polarity, then it will be very less. Okay. So hexane is non-polar solvent. If you talk about chloroform, so chloroform is also the organic. This is organic compound also, but this have somewhat polarity. This is the polarity because there is electronegativity difference between the chlorine. In the chloroform, the molecular formula of chloroform is the CHCl3. So here there are three chlorine atoms and carbon and hydrogen also, right? So there is difference of electronegativity between hydrogen, carbon, and chlorine. Okay, and methanol is the polar solvent because it has the hydrogen bonding also, and it is contain actually the OH group, and OH group is actually the polar group due to the electronegative difference between hydrogen and oxygen of the polar OH group. And butane is also the example of the polar solvent. Chloroform does not have too much polarity, but the methanol is actually the more polar. Okay, so which is not the example of non-polar solvent? Methanol. Methanol is actually the both highly polar solvent. The next question is, which is correct statement for reverse phase HPLC? So the first option is it has its stationary phase is actually less polar than mobile phase, reverse phase. Mobile phase methanol or acetonitrile and water is used, and polar solvent elute faster than non-polar leophobic ones, and all are correct. So actually in reverse phase SPLC we use stationary phase which is less polar than the mobile phase, right? Mobile phase is actually we use methanol or acetonitrile and water also. This is also correct. And polar solute dilute faster than non-polar liquid. This is also correct because in reverse phase SPLC the mobile phase is polar. So polar solute will interact for more time or strongly with the mobile phase molecules, and since mobile phase molecules are in moving, so elute faster, right? So all the statements are actually the correct statement, which is for reverse pages PLC or PHPLC. And the question number 5, which statement is correct for non-phase HPLC, normal phase HPLC? So for the normal phase HPLC, the statement correct is actually the stationary phase used in normal phase HPLC is actually silica, have the pH value 2 to 8, or alumina, bonded diol or NH2. These are actually used as stationary phases in normal phase HPLC, right? The B option is mobile phase used in normal phase PLC is non-polar solvents. Non-polar solvents. So actually the non-polar solvents, hexane and chloroforms are there. They are used. And polar solute elute later than non-polar lyophilic ones. So actually all the options are actually correct option. Why this is so? This is because actually the polar solid dilute faster than the sorry later. Why polar solid dilute later? Because the mobile phase is actually non-polar. If mobile phase is non-polar, then polar solid do not interact with the mobile phase, weakly interact with the mobile phase, and the polar solid will strongly interact with the polar stationary phase, that is silica, alumina, bonded diols. So if the polar solute interact strongly with the mobile stationary phase, then it will not move with the mobile phase. If its movement is less or not move, then it will elute later from the HPLC column. right? The next question, six question number is this: the symbol TR expressed. So what expressed by this symbol TR? Retention time. Option B is length of column. Option C is flow rate of the mobile page, I mean the solvents. And the option is none of these. So the retention time is expressed by the TR symbol. Okay. T here means the time and R means the retention. Now the question number 7 here. What is correct formula for calculating number of theoretical plates? So actually the number of theoretical plates formula to calculate is the length of the column divided by the height equivalent of the theoretical plate. So the n is actually here representing the number of theoretical plate and h is the height of the theoretical plate divided by L means length of the column. Okay, so this option is not correct and option B is n is equals to L upon h. So I have told us that the length of the column if we divide by the height of the each theoretical plate then we can calculate the number of theoretical plates. So option B is correct option. C just is equal to n upon n. P is equal to n upon. So these are not correct. Okay. Option B is the correct option. Right. Now the question number 8. Correct formula to calculate retention factors is. Which is the correct formula to calculate retention factor? K days is equal to TR minus T upon TM. B option B K days is equal to TM minus TR upon TM. C option is K days is equal to TR minus TM upon TR. And D option is K days is equal to TM divided by TR. So what would be the correct formula to calculate retention factor? So this is the correct formula TR minus TM upon TM. Here retention time, I mean the time taken by the solute molecule to pass through the column, or we can say this is the time for which solute molecule interact with the stationary phase. Okay. Minus Tm is the retention time of the non-retained species that is called mobile phase. Tm is the retention time of mobile phase. Okay. So the option A is the correct option for calculating the retention factor. Okay. Now the correct formula to calculate selectivity factor is. So how we can calculate the selectivity factor? So actually the selectivity factor is the ratio of capacity factor or the retention factors of different components. So if we want to calculate the retention factors of component A and component B, then we can calculate from using the formula. But if you want to calculate the selectivity factor, then it is the ratio of retention factor of component A upon retention factor of component B. Okay, where component B is having actually the lateral illusion, and component A having the previous illusion. Okay, first illusion we can say this. So the option C is the correct option because this K dash B is the retention factor of component B and K dash A is the retention factor of component A. Okay, and option D is K dash is equal to TM upon TR. This is not correct. Okay, because the value of TM is very less than the value of TR. Right. Now, the option, the question number 10, the symbol TR expressed here. So, TR symbol expresses actually the retention time. This question is actually, sorry, this is the repeated question, okay? Now, these are the reference books. First is Satyendra Ahuja, Chromatography and Separation Science book, and volume number 4, Separation Science and Technology. And the reference number second books is Len D. Wilson, Colin F. Fuller, and Michael Cook. This book actually of Encyclopedia of Separation Science. Okay. One more thing I want to discuss also with you. Yeah, here the stationary phase silica actually contains the silicic acid. Silicic acid, okay? And if we quote here the stationary phase cellulose, then actually the cellulose contains the cellulose, also amylose, they contain the hydroxy group as the functional group for the interaction with the solute molecules. Okay. Here, the spherical and irregular particles are shown, but actually the particles are not spherical regularly because it's in, the its shape is actually the irregular. Okay. Due to this irregularity of the shape, this its illusion between the column have the differentiating. They have different illusion. These are the detectors used in the various above analytical techniques, and the advantage of or the properties of this is that this is universal analyte detector. Solvent must remain the same throughout the separation. So the condition for using the RI index, refractive index, the solvent we are using for the separation must be same and very temperature sensitive. I mean, if we vary the temperature during the run, then this RI refractive index is actually the sensitive. Sensitive means it may be changed, it may be varied, and sometimes difficult to stabilize baseline. It is very sometimes it is difficult to stabilize the baseline in this RI detector, right? Now the third is deep fluorescence. Greater sensitivity has not so popular. This is not popular detector because it does not have the greater sensitivity or greater separation. The analysis, right? And the mass spectrometry, there is detector used the mass to charge ratio and by Z ratio, and they allow actually the specific compounds, right, for the detection. These are band broadening, MCQs, reference books, and thank you. So if you have any type of queries, any question, any doubts, then you just feel free to contact me. by telephonically or by the mail or by the other the communication ways like WhatsApp, etc. Okay, and I will be very happy to answer your questions. Okay, thank you, thank you very much. Have a good day, and thank you very much for listening me with such patience and for the uh, taking the time for listening to me. Okay, thank you. Have a good day.